the Rangers Journal now.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Rangers Journal post-match reaction to Rangers 4, Alloa 2. Played at Ibrox today, 16th of August. I think probably the nicest thing you can say about that is we are through to the next round. Ross, I know you watched it, mate. We were chattering away in the group chat as it went.
Yep.
What's your kind of immediate thoughts after that?
Still worrying defending-wise. Their 2 goals was atrocious. It's all good saying we're through, but as a defence over the years, it's shocking as per usual. Watching it live, I'm screaming at the telly at what's going on. Especially the second one. Dell just watch the guy score. I was buzzing with the goals. I haven't watched any interviews of Martin and that's of interest in what he says in defence. But I'm glad Fernandez got a goal. Glad he got a start and got a goal. So that's what I'm taking from we're through. That's the main thing. But in the needs to be Alloa, it should have been more. But that's not me. Disrespect for anything, but it's just my opinion.
No, I think you're right. It should have been more, and I think for me, it's a bit of a tough one because you come into these cup games, lower league opposition. You're never quite sure what to expect. And I said on the pre-match, that what does good look like for Martin today? Probably there isn't a good for Martin today because if he wins, it's expected. If he doesn't win, then obviously it's chaos.
There's certain fans that says a paper over the crack with a win as well, Dave.
Yeah,
some fans would argue that as well. So,
yeah, and do you know what? I think that's fair. I'm seeing in the comments there's an awful lot of kind of commentary. A lot of it is centering around the set pieces, or certainly the defending as a whole. So I just want to that second one, we've seen that dance before.
We have more than once, yes.
Yeah, it's incredibly reminiscent of pretty much every league game we've played so far for a start. We pulled out on the breakdown, actually, the Dundee and Motherwell goals. They were incredibly similar. Looking at his history, right, I don't think there's a huge amount of faith in Russell Martin fixing that defence. What was your kind of thoughts? Because when we've analysed it, it looks like it's quite an easy fix, but do you think Martin can sort that?
It is an easy fix, but whether the players believe in him as well, I think it goes down to, if I've been disrespected to Russell Martin, he was a shocking defender. So for me, he can't control defenders. If you look back to the Rangers, how bad was he with his own one at Rangers? It was shocking. There's certain fans that will say, it was back years ago. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. If it's all good at management, but he has to control every position, not just, for example, striker or midfield. The defence has been an issue with coach after coach after coach. I don't know what it is. I was surprised though that Rice played left back. I was very surprised with that. I thought they maybe went 3 at the back. But
just on Rice at left back.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely do. I think Rice at left back for me, I kind of summed it up. I was taking notes because I'm going to be writing a post-match review as well. And my exact notes were Bailey Rice is not a fullback. This proved it. Struggling defending against Alloa. There was a wee bit of quality going forward. I thought he put a couple of nice balls in, but overall, I think it's fair to say this experiment hasn't worked, and we desperately need a left back in. I would suggest. I have the absolute fear of Tav and Aaron's playing, and yet, short of something incredibly quickly happening in the transfer market, that is the position we're going to be in. We're going to go to Bruges with either Tav or Max Aarons playing at left back. Did you Did you see anything in Rice today that you thought he might make it there? Or am I being over dramatic? Does it match what you're thinking?
More to yourself, more going forward than playing as a defender, because he is a midfielder. But listen, the manager asked him to play a position. He done his best. It's just a shame that he's got our first team. He's been injured yet again. It's very frustrating. But one thing I will say, with Aarons and Tav opposite, I think it worked with Tav at left back. But that's just how I seen watching it. I don't know if I felt more comfortable knowing Aarons was on the right. I don't know if that's what made me convince myself. Again, it could just be the way I'm seeing it, but knowing Aarons was in that left, I'm saying, thank God for that. I don't know why, but I had a feeling he was going to play Jeffrey today. I don't know why. I just had a feeling, I know, also the rumour, I just had a feeling, if he's not away yet, why don't you play him? But yeah, I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked if Robbie Fraser left. I would have started him today.
Yeah, I think Robbie Fraser, it's been pretty clear with both him and Ridvan. Yes. They've been pretty clear that, there's no future for them at the club. Just looking at Mark's comment here, Russell Martin's brought in 9 players that can't play his style of football. I'm not convinced all 9 of them can. I think potentially Asgard showed today that he may be able to. I would agree, though, there is probably a chunk of them. I mean, Max Aarons, I don't think has been great in any game. Rothwell, for me, has been very passive. So I think there is actually an argument that some of these players aren't really conditioned to play Martin's way. What do you think about that, Ross?
So I would argue today is probably the best game I've seen Rothwell. Again, no disrespect to Alloa, but I want to see what Rothwell could do against a bigger team in the Premiership. Same with Asgard. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good off the bench. But again, as I've said, the next way it's Alloa. It's not really a challenge. People may find that's disrespectful, but we've got to be honest. We're the Premiership. They're League One. With a big, massive gap. But yeah, I was impressed with Asgard. Well, they should be, yes, but on paper, but that on paper means nothing now. The amount of fans that walked in today, we should beat them, we should beat them. The way we were going, I really wasn't looking forward today, being completely honest. I was more nervous coming in today the more the day went on. When I seen the team, I get even more nervous with the likes of Rice at left back. I mean, I was even worse when I seen maybe Cortes playing left back. The way the team came out, I'm like, okay, how's that going to work? But even today, I'd say Cortes probably the best game I had in a while. He's only 21. He's still young, so he is going to make mistakes. But unfortunately, the old board had a buy-in clause. We're going to have to go on with it. Either get rid of him or play him. It's all good fans saying, the board shouldn't have done this. The board shouldn't have done that. But in the day, the decision was made. We've got to get on with it. So hopefully, this is the kick that Cortes needs, because again, I believe he is a good young player. But whether he can survive against the likes of Aberdeen and Celtic, that's another question to ask. Again, not being disrespectful to Alloa, but he done okay today. I wouldn't say he done brilliantly. But even Mikey Moore, I thought he did okay today, but not massively. But
just to come back to your Cortes point,
yes,
I think for me, and again, I kind of took my notes through the game. I think he showed a few flashes where he looked good. I think there was a couple of times that his movement was maybe quite good, but the other players weren't on the same wavelength and didn't notice the pass. But for me personally, I think overall he kind of flattered to deceive.
It reminds me a lot of Morelos. Sorry, I'll let you go.
No, it's all right. I was just going to say, I think this was a good opportunity for him. You've said yourself, Alloa are lower league opposition, right?
Yeah.
It's not been disrespectful to say that you would expect, a player that's just been signed for £4 million should be standing out against a League One side. I don't think he was great. I think, as I said, there was some flashes where he looked okay, but I don't think he did enough overall for me. What did you make overall? Do you think you saw enough today to say that, right, we need to give him more minutes?
As I said, it's all good saying Alloa, but again, as I come back to before, if you look at Celtic, Aberdeen, and that, I think you could build off the ball. So again, my argument is if Martin doesn't think that it doesn't suit him, you're going to have to get rid of him, I'm afraid. But as you said, there are a couple of glances. But one thing I have mentioned on as well, I can't get used to the defensive high line. I still get really nervous when I see our defenders in their half of the pitch. I don't know about yourself, Dave, but I know that's the way Martin plays. But I'm like, all it takes is one mistake and then goal. So
yeah, and I think that's the problem for me. I'm not opposed to the concept of defenders playing high. Obviously, if they can hold the line properly, you should be reasonably safe. I think for me, the biggest problem is I'm not convinced about the defenders that are playing that line. Now, surprisingly, I thought Fernandes actually had an all right game. I did have a bit of a mix-up where I thought it was him that lost the ball, but it was actually Giga.
Yes.
So I noticed Giga a couple of times trying to break the lines, driving forward, and then losing the ball. And immediately it put us on the defensive. Obviously, he's out of position. You've got, certainly in the first half, you had Bailey Rice at left back who was struggling defensively. And I thought that put a lot of pressure on our defence, especially young Fernandes, who, it was his first proper start for us. What did you make of it overall?
So, again, you say with DJ, I just feel like it feels like he doesn't trust his players, if that makes sense. He doesn't kind of understand the concepts. He wants to do too much to impress the gaffer. Maybe making up for the red card. Again, I might be looking too much into that, but maybe that's him making up for the red card. But yeah, when you get back to Rice, it wasn't his position. He done his best, but it is what it is. And when we have time, I have the draw with me.
You have the draw.
I'll let you make your point first, and I'll tell you the full draw.
No. It's, to be honest, I was going to move on to the midfield. So if you've got the note there, then who's next?
Yes. So we're at home to Livy or Hibs. We played on the weekend of the 20th/21st of September.
Okay. Suspect the answer to that will be Hibs. Potentially a tough game. Potentially could kind of play in our favour, because I think from when I watched them in Europe the other night, they are trying to play a bit. So that actually might suit us bizarrely more than a team that sits in like Alloa.
Possibly, yes.
Okay. Coming on to the midfield then, mate, what did you make of that? Obviously, we started with Rothwell in that sixth position. Let's talk about him first. Were you happy with his performance there today?
As I said, this is probably the first game that I've seen his kind of confidence with playing for Rangers. Because I think he's gone back and forth a lot more. But again, I just feel like he's anxious sometimes when he's going forward again. Whether it makes one mistake or whatever. Again, people are sorting in the comments, but doesn't help us. The likes of Kieran Dow in front of him to assist him. I see you smirking there, Dave, but it's true, I'm afraid. I still don't know what Martin sees in Dow. I really don't. It's so frustrating. It really is.
I believe technically he got an assist today.
Technically, I would argue no.
Well.
I don't know.
Coming on to Dow then, obviously we've spoken about Rothwell in that sitting position. I think it's hard to judge his confidence. I think, yes, he took the ball forward a few times, and again, you would expect that at lower league opposition. I think the concern I've got remains the same with Rothwell. I think too often he plays it safe as opposed to playing that progressive pass forward. I guess the counter argument to that is you don't want to risk it too much, or otherwise you just
Yes.
gain the ball away constantly, like we've seen in other games.
Yeah.
Looking at
They were.
Kieran Dow,
Sorry,
then.
I'll just put on with Rothwell. There was one pass that he made out to Muir that was right out in the wing. That's probably the most decent pass he had, rather than take a risk. Again, I'll go back to Rothwell. Again, I don't know if it's his confidence or what. But even Mikey Moore, I can understand why a lot of Spurs fans were hyping about him. He's a cracking young player. Absolute cracking.
Look lively.
Yes, it did.
Hopefully, I think there's actually a lot more to come from him. I thought it was a solid kind of opening performance, announced himself to the fans, keen, eager, a lot of running. I do think there's more to come from him, especially in a creative sense.
Yep.
Looking at the two midfielders then, or should I say the two slightly further forward midfielders, we obviously had Kieran Dow and Bayrami.
Yep.
Do you think either of them potentially gave Martin something to think about?
Bayrami, potentially. I feel like sometimes he'll come out and have a really good game. And some days I won't. Same with Bayrami. I feel like there's something there that makes him a cracking player. But again, I don't know if his competence or what. I feel like since Clement left, he's kind of calmed it down because that's Clement brought him in. But yeah, I feel like Bayrami's the kind of player he kind of, if he doesn't play all the time, he's kind of expectation of himself goes down. Don't know if that makes sense to yourself, but I'm not saying he assumes he's playing every game, but it's the kind of player that could play every game. He could probably challenge Mikey Moore to the left-hand side, potentially or play through the middle. But as Andrew said, Dow was a passenger. It doesn't change. Bayrami, again, as I said, he has good games, bad games, but today his goal was decent, the play was decent, a wee bit higher. It was missing, but the play that it started from was really good. Very, very impressed today with Bayrami, but Kieran Dow, don't. I'm letting me get started with Dow. I don't. You know my feelings of Kieran Dow. I don't feel like he should be in a Rangers jersey. I'm sorry, but he's taking money that he's not entitled to, in my opinion. But that's just me. So
for impersonating a football player, right?
Well, if he can do it, somebody else can.
Aye. All right, let's step forward the line then, Ross. Up front, Danilo.
Yes.
I thought he was anonymous, to be honest. I thought if he cannot take the opportunity against Alloa, then think we have to maybe come to terms with that's a hell of a waste of £6 million. What did you make of Danilo in this one?
Same as yourself. I didn't really notice him, to be honest. So I'll go back to Dessers. As much as Dessers sometimes a passion, you see him coming back to try and help. You don't see Danilo doing that. Danilo just stays up front and kind of expects the ball. Kind of thing. Just, he doesn't seem interested. So I think he knows in his head now, I've got a chance now because Dessers is out injured. Kind of thing. He just doesn't care, if that makes sense. He's still young. He knows he can quite happily go back to Holland or whatever. Again, I don't know if it's just him being certain or he can't play in the Scottish League, but he just doesn't have it for me. £6 million for a big player. For that, you expect a lot more. You've seen the comments. Danilo was so overrated. I was glad he got minutes today, but I would have started Agami, gave him 60, and bring Danilo on. But that's my argument, because I feel like Agami gives so much more. He does so much more. He come on and you've seen the difference. Yeah, it was only 20 minutes, but the difference was night and day to Agami and Danilo. Just doesn't seem interesting at all.
Yeah, I think with Eggman, we just need to bear in mind that obviously he has had that injury. He's coming back into fitness. So I think, in an ideal world, yes, he would have had more minutes, but actually there's maybe an argument the other way that it's best just to give him 20 minutes this time and build it up.
Certainly,
For me, right, Danilo, not the answer. I think Most fans
No.
will agree on that now. I do kind of take exception to what you said about Dessers. I don't think he's the answer as a starting striker. I think he'll absolutely get you goals over the course of a season, right?
Yeah.
If you give him minutes, if he comes on to see out games, he'll get you goals. My question with Danilo is, can you rely on him in that big moment? Do you know what? He might score a worldie. Equally, he might cut back and blast it into Rose Ed. And there's not an awful lot in between. So for me, I mean, regular listeners will know I'm not Dessa's biggest fan, shall we say, but I do think there's a role for him, and I think Andrew's bang on here. I think as a squad option to come on, to get extra goals, to pad out a game, absolutely.
So,
as your starting striker,
no.
it is my firm belief that Rangers need to go into the transfer market. And if we don't, we will not win anything this season.
No. So with Dessers, he reminds a wee bit of a natural Novo coming off the bench when we need that extra wee burst.
No, I like Nova.
No,
I like Nova.
I'm not being a bad way. No, what I'm saying is Dessers the kind of thing that reminds me of Nova. We started him on the bench. That's what I mean to see what Novo done off the bench. That's the kind of thing. I know that's the kind of thing I want. We've got to remember he was the top goal scorer last season. We've got to remember that. He misses easy chances, but how many goals did he save us? It's all good. Yeah, he missed important chances, but indeed he's human. A lot of fans do forget that. A lot of fans do, but again, I'll go back to Dessers. Kind of thing. He'll help the team. Danilo doesn't. As I said, Danilo just expects the ball. I'm the striker. I'm not moving. It's kind of attitude that I feel. I just
don't actually argue the other way. I think Danilo does move more and actually is more of a link-up option than Dessers. I don't think he gets back defensively, and I think maybe Dessers does. But actually linking up the play, I would say Danilo is better. I guess the ultimate problem, right, is we can talk about helping defensively, we can talk about linking up play, all this other stuff. I'm quite old-fashioned, me. I just want a striker that scores goals reliably.
Pretty much,
right? That's it. So, yeah, I think for me, as I said, I think it's pretty clear we need to jump into the transfer market. I did see apparently Turgeman that we were interested in is now quite close to an MLS move. So it might not be him, but we need someone. We have to bring someone in. We cannot persevere. At the minute, the only person that I can see us maybe relying on is Igama. And even that's an unknown. He's young, he's raw.
Yeah.
Young players are going to have troughs where they just don't perform. We need an experienced striker in there for me.
What I'm scared about with your argument there, if we do start with Graham, he's a belter of a season. Money talks.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. So
I'll go back for I know it's my English team, for example, but even my team is just not interested buying players. I don't want my board to do that. I want my board to go out and put offers in. I mean, yeah, if it gets rejected, Then we at least can say, oh, the club tried. The club tried to get someone in, or Rangers losing out in targets. But we can't afford to keep losing out in targets. We can't let them keep winning the league.
No. Agreed.
It really is. It's getting to the stage that they think that they're the same as us now. So it's even more important now to start. But my argument again, that this play doesn't work for the league. But
yeah, I think the comment Jordan's put in there as well is quite telling. Martin after the game, and I haven't seen this yet, so I'm assuming it's genuine, but I haven't seen it. Lots to be really excited about, but it's my job to always want more. I think there was a couple of nice goals. Lots to be excited about. Feels like a bit of a stretch to me. Ross, just before we wrap this one up, then the RTV man of the match was Mikey Moore. The sponsors man of the match was Bayrami. Who would you have picked as your man of the match from that game?
Rothwell. That's what I put in my notes. That's what I put in my notes that I'll send on the tactics when I finish here. just feel like he was always there. It's just yourself. Where would you put?
I would have gone with Mikey Moore, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't think he was necessarily amazing, but I think he showed us a lot more than anyone else on that pitch for the time that he was on. So that would have been my pick. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining me, Ross. I'm
Thanks very
sure
much.
at some point we'll have nicer games to review than that one, but
Hopefully.
for now, that's what we have. Anyone that's listened, thanks for listening to us. If you have liked what you've heard, please do like and subscribe to the channel. But for now, every night's a Rangers Journal night.